for a really long time, I'll tell this story to wrap up the episode. For a really long time, I did not want to be a dad. I was a professional wrestler, traveling the world, having sex with as many people as humanly possible. And when my sister was alive, she wanted a big family. She wanted to raise a big family, a big Jewish family, and it was gonna be awesome. So I could just be the uncle, and my parents would have grandchildren, and it would be fucking sweet, and we all, enjoy that time together. Then in 2018, she passes away. Now, I know I talk about that a lot, but it's a very, very, very pivotal moment in my life that completely changed the way I look at everything in this world. And so 2018, she passes away, and I sort of continue that trajectory. I've talked about this a lot about, masturbation and porn, going celibate. And so check out those episodes. I'll link them down below if you want to hear the full story about how I stopped masturbation, stopped porn, went celibate, and met my wife. But based on that, because of that, after 2018, I kept doing kind of the same thing for a couple more years, and it just had enough. And then eventually I met my wife, and I was honest with her. I don't know if I want to have children, because if I do have children right now, I'm doing it because I know it'll make my parents happy. If they have a grandchild, they'll be so, so happy. My parents are amazing. I jumped off this episode talking about my parents and how amazing and helpful and great they are. And it would make them extremely happy to have a grandchild. So I knew at that moment when I met my wife and I really fell in love with her, and I knew that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with her, I was honest. I said, I don't know. Because if I had a child now, I wouldn't be doing it for me. And then at 3 a.m. when my son cries, I'm going to resent him because I don't want to fucking take care of him. I didn't have this baby for me. I had it for them. And so I had to readdress and really sort out my emotions and feelings about what it means to be a man, what it means to be a father, what it means to be a husband, what it means to be a raise kids, what it means to like grow a family and actually pass on a legacy and values that I found most important. And so over time, after a couple of years with my wife, I realized, yeah, we're going to get married. That's a done deal. Getting married was awesome. Our marriage was amazing. We celebrated our 1-year anniversary not too long ago on September 22nd, 2025. My sister passed away in September 3rd, 2018, and my son was born September 19th, 2025. So all things happened in 3 September is a really powerful month for us. And then over time, I'm like, no, I do. I do want to be a dad. I don't want to be a dad for my parents. I don't want to be a dad for my sister. I don't want to be a dad for my wife. I want to be a dad for me, because that sounds fucking awesome. I started listening and hearing and reading a bunch of stuff about people who are doing great things and how they talk about fatherhood then is the most important thing that's ever happened to them in their life. And I realized that's the man that I want to be. That's the kind of change that I want to make in society. I have this small ripple effect through this podcast, but mostly through my family, through how I treat my wife, through how I show up on a day-to-day basis, through how I treat my son. So I no longer wanted to be a dad because my sister wasn't going to be able to have kids anymore, because I knew it would make my parents happy. I knew that it would make me happy and be the most fulfilling and most important job that I've ever had in my whole life. And so then I made the decision like, yes, let's have kids. I want to be a dad. And again, my wife's like, you're going to be the best dad in the world. And I don't know about that. I'm just going to try my fucking best, and I'm going to learn, and I'm going to grow, and I'm going to adapt, and I'm going to change. And I'm going to hold myself accountable and be as responsible as humanly possible. But now that my son is here, it's like, yes. And a byproduct of that is like, oh shit, my parents like get to be grandparents. And that's awesome. And they've been the most supportive and helpful grandparents already to this day. And the dude's barely like a month old when you hear this. And it's like, so I had to sort out all of these emotions that happen. And it's just so interesting to see the trajectory of where I was when I was 23 to 25 to 28 to 29 to 30 to 31, now at 33, thinking about what I want my life to be like, what I want my legacy to be, how I want to pass on the things that I find most valuable in this world, my core values, the things that my personal philosophy now that I can pass on to my son. But I didn't just want to wake up and want to be a dad. So if you're a young man, that's not your vibe right now, totally fine. You got to close that loop on things that you think are cool, things that you think are going to give you more freedom. This is the most free I've ever been because it's the most important thing, and I'm shouldering the most responsibility, which gives me the most purpose in my life. Patreon is the home of our exclusive community where we do bonus episodes, live streams, Q&As, and merch discounts, and so much more. Patreon is the #1 way to support this podcast and to support my mental health nonprofit called You Are Loved.